Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Pacers Daily. I am your host, Hery Acosta. Free agency is here. Already a lot going on. We have seen Dorian Finney-Smith going to the Rockets. We saw the Grizzlies pulling in some big moves, re-signing Jaren Jackson. We also saw them getting Ty Jerome. The Atlanta Hawks are also making some big moves. Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Luke Kennard. Karis LeVert went to Detroit. Dennis Schroeder to the Kings. Clint Capella to the Rockets. Plumlee went to the Hornets. There's all around some pretty interesting moves. Brook Lopez to the Clippers. But now let's talk about the Pacers. The one move we have made has been bringing back Tony Bradley. His team option was picked up 1 year, $2.94 million. Nothing crazy here. Despite one of the lesser intriguing players that the Pacers really had to worry about bringing back. But he is a good rebounder. Someone that you need off the bench if you're struggling with foul trouble, as Miles Turner struggled a lot with foul trouble throughout the season, especially if Thomas Bryant doesn't come back. But right now, nothing too crazy. It's an interesting episode of Tony Bradley is the first topic that's being talked about, so here we are. But no, so far Pacers have not really been in the news much. Haven't lost anyone, haven't gained anyone. They've so far just kept the same team so far. But good start with getting Tony Bradley back. Now, this is this one I want to talk about just because he's been linked to the Pacers for a while, and it kind of caught me off guard, this trade. So, Cam Johnson is going to the Denver Nuggets for Michael Porter Jr. and a 2032 first-round pick. Now, you see the trade, and you're thinking to yourself, that is a pretty even trade. But now you pair up Michael Porter Jr. with Cam Thomas, who are both score first. And everyone always makes the joke, Michael, the possession interior Porter Jr. Watching him play, that is pretty accurate, seeing as if he's averaged less than 2 assists pretty much his whole career. And he wasn't crazy efficient, but he was a key role in the 2023 Denver Nuggets championship team. Speaking of, Bruce Brown is back to Denver, which I thought that was very interesting. He brought back the sixth man of that team. And just another random one, Kevon Looney to the Pelicans. That's interesting in itself, especially now that they have center depth. Drafting Queen, getting Yves Missy last year, who balled out. But that's the Pelicans. But no, this is an interesting trade because Cam Johnson was one of the most linked targets to the Pacers, and seeing that he is no longer on the radar, and this is a little kind of low for the Pacers, as they could have used a player of his caliber on the team. But now I kind of want to really just touch up on how the Pacers always tend to do this in free agency, and this is kind of why, a lot of players don't really go here, or we just don't really ever have the team that we need. Obviously, this year was a different story. We made it to the finals, and a lot of that team was built either through the draft or through trades. When it comes to actual free agency, pretty much our only free agent signing on this roster was Tony Bradley. Everyone else was either traded or drafted to Indy. Nembhard and Turner have been drafted here. Siakam, Halliburton, and Nesmith were all traded here. Mathurin, Shepard, Walker, Furphy, all drafted. Toppin was traded here. Oh, TJ McConnell. He was a free agent signing from a few years ago. Pretty much the only actual free agent signing that the Pacers have on the roster. Thomas Bryant was traded here. So the Pacers never really make moves in free agency, because even Tony Bradley was an in-season pickup. He hadn't played NBA basketball in 2 or 3 years. But as of right now, the Pacers are kind of just sitting pretty. They haven't really done much, as I talked about earlier, but there's still some names on the market. Obviously, some of the big names like Alexander Walker, Brook Lopez are off the market. Some players like Taurean Prince, Bobby Portis re-signed, Santi Aldama re-signed. So Tyus Jones re-signed. He would have been a good one. One name to look forward to that I haven't really talked about is Josh Giddey, as there still hasn't been a deal there. Kobe White could potentially be on the trade market. I gotta sneeze. No, I don't. Okay. But there's just a lot going on there. The Pacers are really looking to just kind of see what they need. I mean, they got their... I need to stop doing that. They got their depth in the draft. They have their guard depth. I talked last episode about how we need front court. Still think that's the case. Still some forwards, some centers in that free agent market. DeAndre Ayton, we had a deal with him a few years ago before the Suns matched it. Honestly, that was at the time that was good for us. But now, if we can't bring back Turner, we're gonna need to push for someone like DeAndre Ayton when Wednesday rolls around. And last but not least, we're going to talk about our free agent. No deal has been made yet. Reports are coming out that he wants to re-sign and that the Pacers are working on a deal. But the Pacers have been afraid of the luxury tax for years. It's been 20 years since we've gone over. And Pacers are going to have to. If they want to get Turner back, you're going to have to pay that luxury tax, which is not the end of the world. You know, you gotta do what you gotta do, especially keep your roster around that just made the finals. We've seen that the Thunder haven't really been making crazy moves. They did trade Dillon Jones, whose NBA Finals highlight was getting bulldozed by James Johnson. But he's going to the Wizards where he can probably make some moves. Won a championship his rookie year, got sent to the Wizards. I don't know how. I feel like that's a little bit of a balance, but... When it comes to Miles Turner, you know, the Pacers are really looking forward to just being able to see what kind of deal that they orchestrate with him, whether it's like a 2-year deal or maybe even a 4-year deal. But they're going to have to think of something soon because Turner will have a market, especially if the Pacers don't sign him because he is unrestricted. So they're going to have to figure something out soon. As of right now, doesn't look like there's any full-on... let's say traction when it comes to his deal, but you know, there will definitely be some news coming out soon, hoping that the news is before any other team can get to him. But we've already seen how the center market's already been shaken up a little bit. Like I said earlier, Brook Lopez, Clint Capella, Plumlee, they've all been signed to different teams. So also been a lot of three-point shooters. One I missed was Tyus Jones going to the Orlando Magic. The Suns are now looking for an actual point guard as they have 4 shooting guards on the roster. So there's a lot of teams that are still looking for stuff. But right now we're focusing on the Pacers, who the Pacers need to make some moves just because we have some players on the market, but we're also missing a star player for the whole season. We've seen what the Celtics are doing. Luke Cornett just went to the Spurs. They potentially won't be able to bring back Al Horford. They've already gotten rid of Porzingis and Holiday. We don't need the Pacers to go that crazy. But the thing is, the Pacers aren't over the luxury tax just yet until they pay Miles Turner. So the Pacers have a little bit more money to play with. But as always, I am your host, Hery Acosta. This is Pacers Daily. We will be back for more videos. We'll be covering all the free agency. It's going to be a very fun time in the NBA. Always loving free agency. But as always, boom, baby. Go, Sirs.